So my offer today looks nothing like it did at the beginning. So when I first started my business, all I did was I left my job and then started to sell what I did in my job on a kind of pro rata part-time contract basis, and had this idea that, for companies that couldn't afford a CMO, that, they could have me a couple of days a month, and so they could get that kind of big business strategic input without the hefty price tag. It was a nice idea, but it wasn't what really lit me up. I had this idea, of where I wanted to go with the business, but I thought it was very airy fairy, I guess, unachievable, a daydream. And one of the biggest things that they did for me is that they helped me to map my first steps against that bigger vision. What they've given me is the ability to be able to see it all clearly for myself and understand how all of the different parts fit together. And this means that I can make better decisions for my business, and also be able to filter out the advice and the feedback that doesn't work for me. So I just feel like I'm in control of the business and my marketing, and I can understand the impact of the decisions that I'm making in it. But as well as that, just able to make decisions about what I think the business needs. So there was a lot of really practical advice they gave, but some of the biggest shifts were the mindset around sales and how I see myself, how I talk about myself, not being too quick to reduce my prices and offer discounts, not being too quick to sell whatever anybody wants to buy. They've helped me get confident in selling the thing I'm really good at and staying focused on that. Within the first year, I'd identified that I wanted to work with women. Once I committed to it, then everything started to change. My marketing suddenly felt much easier. My content was getting better engagement. I felt like I was being more authentic, just talking about the things that I really cared about, which made it easier to talk about them, and less scary. And so now that's evolved over the last year or so, and is now fully focused on female founders. It's about marketing for women that want to make waves. So yes, I love my offer. I love the transformation that I'm able to help these women to get in their business. I love seeing the results. And there's just so much impact there, which is what really drives me. The one thing that was missing that I found with those two was they have a huge amount of empathy for us as business owners and for our dreams. So they never tried to push any of us down a route that we didn't want to go down. So they helped with the framework and the strategy and the how to do it. But I found they did it with a huge amount of compassion and patience, and they really understood what it feels like to go on that journey. It is a challenge because there's so much around the mindset and trying to get clear on what your offer is and letting go of some of the stuff that's not serving you. And, that process is full of highs and lows. And to know that they are there, like at every step, and to know that they're there at every step and they're holding your hand and they've got your back. And they're just so smart. The two of them as well together, they're just a wonderful blend of, I'll give you a big hug and also a kick up the bum. And I think between the two of them, they have this lovely dynamic where you get the straight talking, you get the nurturing, you get the go get 'em attitude, and with their respective skills, with Angela being so focused on the offer creation part, and then with Christina on the sales, you get everything that you need in two perfect little packages. I think the biggest outcome for me has been the amount of impact that my business has, because every time I've launched something, I've learned from it and I've and refined it. But I've been so clear on what I knew it was going to feel like when I got it right, and this is it. But it's the impact that I've been able to have along the way. So by stepping into who who I am at my core, my values, which is probably only really from last October when they've really started to encourage me to fully embrace LinkedIn. The connections that I've made, the impact that I've had on people. I get invited to deliver workshops and be on podcasts and provide articles around, gender equality and bias, and, helping women to feel more confident in themselves as business owners. That for me is the biggest part of why I do what I do. So to put myself out there and talk about those things and get such an amazing response, I think that's what I wanted when I first started out, was to have influence and impact on the issues that I really care about, and to feel like I could contribute in some way to alleviating some of that, or, balancing the scales a bit. See, Andrew and Christina are fabulous coaches and mentors, and they have so much expertise around this to share with people. But I think for me, one of the things that makes them really special is the amount of personal time that they all give you. There's this feeling that they're always thinking about you. It's something I hope to emulate in my program and in my community and with my clients. But I don't think it's that common. The level that they go to when I share that with, other business friends of mine that are also in coaching programs, they comment that they don't get that kind of support. So I think that's something that's quite special with them, is that they genuinely are rooting for you and really invested in your success and making you feel good about your journey.